Commission meeting to order, 7:30 p.m. Our first order of business is to approve the minutes of the Utilities Commission meeting of February 6, 2017.
I'll move that we approve the Utilities Commission meeting for February the 6th, 2017.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show that we unanimously approve the minutes of February 6, 2017. Cash on hand and in the banks for the Utilities Commission, the total cash on hand comes to $964,148.65. In the capital funds for water and sewer hookup, we have $589,000 for the total of $1,553,148.65. Our third order of business is the payment of the bills
For utilities, right, yeah.
for the Utilities Commission.
Move to pay the bills for the Utilities Commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Let the record show we unanimously agreed to pay the bills, which brings us to Bob Sipes, Utilities Commission report.
Evening, Mayor
He
and Council.
swore he would be quick tonight.
I will, very quick. The patches in the street that are all over town that are apparently causing everybody a headache are getting done next week.
Great.
He was gonna do it this week, and Bramble didn't open the blacktop plant. So we have to wait for Bramble to open up so he can get the blacktop. We'll be reviewing the RFP this week, and once we get that finalized, I'll make sure everybody gets a copy of it.
RFP
Which
for-
RFP?
The RFP for the
For the
GIS.
underground mapping.
Oh, great.
The DO system over at the wastewater treatment plant has needed to be almost completely replaced. New transmitters because you couldn't read the screens anymore, and they wouldn't calibrate, and new probes. So everything outside related to the basins has been replaced. And the chem scan over at the wastewater treatment plant, which is the piece of equipment that gives us the phosphorus and the nitrogen readings, isn't communicating with the PLC anymore. It is still working, and it is still giving us numbers, but we can't log those numbers, and they're not on the display that the guys usually read them off of. So we have to get that fixed. It's gonna be expensive. The only company that will work on it is the company that sold us the equipment, and they are out of, I believe, Massachusetts. So we actually have to fly a tech in to work on it. So we'll be.
How old is it?
It's as old as the plant, so right around 8 years old now.
So is that the life expectancy or something like that?
The life expectancy, they told me, was approximately 10 years. But this is a communications issue. It's not the unit itself, it's just the communication portion. But for the cost of the unit, the repair is only going to be a fraction of that.
Is there any way we could have some kind of a technician communicate them by phone or email or something, and tell them what to do to correct a certain thing?
I asked that, because the company that actually sold us the equipment is Kirshner Environmental Technologies out of Baltimore. And they do have techs. Like, how about that tech comes over and you guys, and they said, no, that's not really something because he wouldn't have the equipment. The equipment that's needed to do that is expensive, and they have it and they bring it with them when they come. I think what it is this is how we make our money, and we're not going to give it up to anybody. So the only other option would be to look for alternative ways to measure phosphorus and nitrogen, like probes, instead of using the ChemScan unit. The ChemScan unit is nice because it gives us the individual constituents. It gives us the phosphorus.
Phosphates.
It gives us nitrates, nitrates. It gives us the ammonia. So having those individually, the ammonia lets us know that we need to increase the air. The nitrates, nitrates let us know we need to decrease the air. So having those two separately, I don't know if I can get probes to do that, but I'll look into it. We haven't committed to have them come down to work on the unit yet.
They don't do things like service contracts where you just pay so much a year and they guarantee it, they come down and fix it?
If, I can ask them that, we were never offered one. If they do a service contract, I would be willing to bet you they would make money on it. So I don't know that we would actually say.
Yeah, well, we're
Especially
8 years into the
8
doggone
years.
equipment anyway, so we may end up have to buy a new one.
In a couple of years, we're probably gonna end up needing a new unit.
Then we should
whole
look
new
at
unit.
service contracts when it's new, because that's,
Now keep in mind, in 8 years, technology hasn't frozen.
yeah.
So there are other things that have come along to do this type of on-site analysis, and we may be able to do it with probes now.
I wonder if they ought to be able to give you a ballpark figure on what it's gonna cost. It might be worth it just to go buy another one. If we're only gonna get a couple more years out of the one we got, we're gonna be paid to have it repaired, so.
I'll get a price on both of them.
Yeah.
What we paid for that unit as part of the contract was upwards of $50,000 for the box. And then the filters and the PLC, that was all in addition to. So the box that we're talking about was right around $40,000.
They don't have, they're not the only people that make that though, right?
At the time, they were the only people that made that. And the way they do it is they have managed to miniaturize a spectrophotometer, whatever, I forget the exact name of it, but they've managed to do this, and other companies have been trying for years to do on-site phosphorus automated and nitrogen and nitrate, and they haven't had successful field tests. This company, evidenced by our plant, has managed to do it remarkably well, to the point that as a process control, it is our primary process control indicator. So when the ammonia gets high, we know what we need to do, and when the nitrates get high, we know what we need to do. But, like I said, there may be alternatives now, I can look into them.
Yeah. It sounds like you need to price out some, price out the replacement, see if they can have a service agreement, and maybe look into probes and
Okay,
see what's what.
and that's all I have.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments for Bob? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'm waiting for you to come in and say, we don't have to buy anything this month.
But part of that, though, is as the plant gets older, more and more, the price of those things just keep going up.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn the Utilities Commission meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the Utilities Commission meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. I got one. This one? Oh, man, you got a summary. Thank you.
Not
What is this?
It's not something we're acting on tonight, I just want to get your
Is this going to be part of your report?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'd like to call the mayor and council meeting to order. It's 7:40 PM. The first order of business is to approve the minutes of the mayor and council meeting of February 21st, 2017.
I would move that we approve the mayor and council meeting February 21st, 2017. All 15 pages, or whatever it was.
Oh, wow. Is there a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Let the record show we unanimously approve the minutes. Operating funds on hand, total operating cash on hand for unrestricted use is $1,543,418.75. Within that fund, we have assigned funds from the Armory transfer of $180,480. And then in a separate PNC regular checking account for the Broad Reach project, we have a balance of $37,531.24.
When is that project getting started?
It was supposed to, they were supposed to break ground in May, is the last I heard.
Did they raise all the money?
There's a sign out there saying there you've raised 100,000 towards like 130,000. So we're getting close, very close. Okay, the next item of business is the payment of the bills.
I had it somewhere. Move to pay the bills.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show we unanimously agreed to pay the bills. Next, we have David Starts from the plaque at Memorial Park.
I don't see
No,
David.
you
You have
don't.
one either.
He's not here.
No.
Again?
Well, I think there was a mix-up last time about he really wasn't coming to the last meeting. This is the meeting he planned to, but we'll bring him to the next meeting. It's a simple request, and I think we showed you a copy of the bronze plaque. There were
Nice.
5 victims from Kent County in the Vietnam War, and I think it's like a no-brainer, but I do want him to...
Has the plaque been done?
No, they're waiting to hear from us, but I don't think you'll have a single problem with it, because even if the other wars said, hey, we want to do the same thing, we would make room for that on the ground-mounted bronze things. The All Wars Monument doesn't have to have anything added to it. Hopefully, we won't have any wars as big, but we'll invite him back.
All right.
I don't think they will rush.
Okay, the next item of business was a report from the Environmental Committee, which I've been told is
They'll be
not
here
going to
the
happen.
First meeting in April.
Didn't they just report? Or I guess they
They
have
did.
something new to report?
They did, well, they want to talk about Earth Day, which is in April, so they're going to
okay.
come next
Gotcha,
meeting.
Gotcha, okay.
All right, that brings us to our town manager's report. Bill Ingersoll.
All right, just 2 things. We have our annual request for a post-prom party donation. And I think everyone got a copy of it. It's a modest request. Everyone did get a copy
No,
of
I
it,
did
didn't they?
not.
Okay.
Was it a letter
Is there
request?
a copy of the letter in the file?
In the file.
I didn't get one.
What, how much it
It's
is?
a-
They were requesting $100.
Every year they ask for
It's what we
$100.
usually
We've been
You guys
doing
want me
that.
to read you the letter?
No, it's fine.
Now that my son's at this high school, I really want them to have a post-prom non-alcoholic
I
party, so I'm
totally
totally in
agree. In fact,
favor.
I'd like to see us give a little bit more than.
We've been doing the same
$100.
amount for 10 years, I know.
They
So,
don't ask
it's-
for any more, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
So do we need a motion to approve
I
that?
I would move that we approve.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show we unanimously agree to donate $100 to the Kent County High School post-prom party.
We also had another request a brand-new request from another agency, but it's a county agency, and apparently they've been defunded by the county. And I pointed them out to, and I think you got a copy of it, Mayor. I pointed them out to our process, sent them the forms, and helped them, gave them a range of streets in town so they could quantify how many people really, they thought they had hundreds of people at Chestertown because they were using 21620. But they do have about 56 beneficiaries from Chestertown in their program, which is connected a bit with the Judy Center. It's a reading program. They were a little confused about whether to ask for money now or for next year or for everything or both. And I told them that it's very hard for the town to give money to county-funded things for every town because we were essentially defunded by the county in 2008 when the tax differential went out the window and never came back. So we can understand by being defunded what they're talking about. So, but it's in a much better format. It came in about 5 o'clock this afternoon. Tomorrow I'm going to send it out to all of you. It's really now an annual request. They want it for our budget year, so.
But we're just paying for the town of Chestertown, right?
We're not paying anything until you guys say we're going to. It's like
What agency is it?
they all sound alike to me, really. It's a,
You said the Judy's
no, they're a part of it. They're a beneficiary of this program.
Isn't it a library program?
It ends up being a book program for kids. You know, they give them 5 or 6 books a year.
Oh, okay.
And really,
It's a literacy program.
they have a lot of details on it, and they went right to work to find out how many, people lived in Chestertown benefited from that. Because I think you're very specific about, is this benefiting, like when we give the county $10,000 for recreation, we want to know who the Chestertown beneficiaries are. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense to have money go up the ladder instead of down.
Right.
But you'll get all that. And this other thing I passed out for you, I won't ask for you to pass this resolution tonight, though. I think you could have. You have probably been expecting this resolution to launch our bond program with USDA to some of what we had hoped would be the final touches for the funding for the marina, the larger marina project. This is bonding for the $598,000 loan program with them, which is also matched up with the grant program. I will ask for you to pass it at the next meeting. Our bond council thought like it should be on the agenda more than 24 hours before. There is no advertising request after you pass this. This is not an ordinance either, so it doesn't require a public hearing. It's a resolution that you want to do this. And I told the bond council you've actually been waiting for this for several months. And this means we're very close to the bond being launched, which is it's one of the best bond combinations that I've seen as far as borrowing money. It's the best way I've ever seen to borrow money. And that completes my report. Though we have made progress at the marinos there this morning. We've driven the test piles, and we're working on the bulkhead by the ramp.
Okay. The mayor's report, I have three things. One is I received a letter today from Molly Judge, who's the head of Radcliffe Creek School. They're requesting a crosswalk. Would the town be willing to paint a crosswalk across Talbot Boulevard, which would connect their campus to the fields across from their campus where they do a lot of their activities? And Molly says that the roads become busier, and it would just be a nice safety feature to protect their kids when they're crossing that road. So, I don't know, should I pass this on to you?
Yeah.
Is that a town road, correct?
It is a town road. I mean, there's some caution to be had with putting a crosswalk right in the middle, not at an intersection. But I mean,
We do have that, though.
We've
Washington
done-
College has a crosswalk right in the middle of an intersection.
but there's a light there.
Yeah, but there
No, I'm
wasn't,
not saying that,
there wasn't always a light
that sounds
there.
more like I'm with the state highway administration. I mean, we'll do it. But I like to raise them like we have at several locations in town, because people don't respect paint on the ground. They do respect,
Speed bump.
well, they're humps. And
hump,
we have one at
traffic.
the middle school, the elementary school, and where the rail trail goes across. But it's a major road there, and I think it's important that they cross safely too.
And we can sign it.
How about this, can we authorize you to further
Yeah, thanks.
explore this with?
Now, we will,
Ms.
if
Judge?
you tell me, we're getting ready to paint that presentation at our last meeting downstairs. So we'll do it.
Great.
Okay. I was invited to talk to the Washington College SGA, and ended up sitting through almost their whole meeting. If you've never been to one of these things, it's quite an event. How many people do you have in that? Like 50?
About 45 senators, and then and then we have 13 people on our governing.
So it was really interesting. I mean, they run a really tight meeting. I have to say, like, I felt kind of like maybe our meetings need to be a little bit tighter. But they covered a lot of ground. I talked to them just about how our government is set up, what our budget looks like, some of the initiatives that we've undertaken. So it was really interesting, and it was great to interact with the students, and I hope we can do more of that. And lastly, a reminder that the second ever Mayor's Business Forum is this Thursday at 7 o'clock. This is specifically for the C2 downtown commercial area, also known as the A&E district now. I'm running this in conjunction with Main Street. So Kay and her folks are going to help out. It's not a mandatory mayor and council meeting, but you guys are welcome to attend. So we'll see what the turnout's like. It's basically just a chance for me and us to give our business owners a platform to give us feedback on how the last 3 years have gone, give us feedback on initiatives that we've undertaken, and maybe give us suggestions for other ways to make downtown as business-friendly as possible.
The public invited?
Yes, I mean, it's basically second floor of Town Hall, 7 o'clock, and I think Kay has specifically invited business owners, but yes, anybody, I think anybody from the public is welcome to attend as far as I'm concerned, so. And that's my report. Why don't we start on your end of the table tonight, Marty?
Good, thank you. I attended a ribbon cutting up at the new Verizon standalone building up in Ward 4, up by Washington Square. The mayor was there, and we cut a ribbon. It's kind of nice, except I think it leaves a little vacant spot in the other shopping center, but hopefully that'll get filled in. The next day was the 25th, and of course that's Saturday, and that was the Chester Draw. I think all the council was there.
I was not there.
Sam wasn't
No, wait a minute. I didn't see you, Sam.
I was not there.
Okay. I saw your email saying you were coming, but,
It's a fun day.
but we judged the parade, and it's a fun time. I'll say this I didn't mean to embarrass you. Yes, I did.
I can never win. I can never win. Every time.
Mostly local people, which is kind of nice. I mean, I think they probably would, I'm not sure, I thought I've seen bigger crowds, but it was a nice turnout, and the storm held off, and I think that was probably part of it. It was supposed to get those thunderstorms. And last Friday, Washington College invited Cokie Roberts and Senator Markowski to come over and give a presentation. And it was in the Decker Center, and it was standing room only.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
They did a really great job, and it's really nice the way the college, I don't know how much they charge to come over here. I don't think they do it for nothing, but it was a really informative, nice function. And I will say this, there was probably by far, more citizens of Chestertown attending it than there were students. Were you there, Liz?
I was almost 2 rows behind you.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I got the back of your head there.
Right. The reflection didn't bother you or anything?
It was a little blinding.
But it really was an enjoyable time, and they had a little reception afterwards. And otherwise, things are good in Ward 4. We did have a pole cut off in my ward. Some kid come flying down Cedar Street, caught some air, and then he couldn't control his car and cut a telephone pole off. And for the people who lost electric in College Heights for a couple hours, that's the reason you had a telephone pole cut off. By the way, I think he might have had some minor injuries, but he's lucky he's living. Apparently that electric line carries a tremendous amount of voltage.
Yeah.
It was laying right across the top of his car.
Wow.
But the circuit breaker had gone, so. And that's pretty much it for Ward 4. And I'm sorry, Sam,
All right, Sam.
you could get me back, and you will.
I'm a gentleman.
Ward 3. What do you got?
All is well in Ward 3. Bob addressed one of the major concerns that I've been getting, and that's filling in some of the patches along the roads in Ward 3, so knowing that is going to be taken care of, it's nice to see a full room. So, democracy at work.
Okay, Linda.
Okay, we have 3 new businesses in Ward 2. Tiny Tots open Friday night, Welcome Home and Figs Ordinary. And we had a ribbon cutting in Ward 2 on Washington Avenue for the new driveway. Yeah, it's on Washington Avenue.
A driveway had a ribbon?
Yes, I thought it deserved a ribbon
Oh,
cutting.
somebody's house?
Yeah. This was approved by the Historic Commission and Carol Myland. It's about midway in Washington Avenue. It looks very nice. I'm still begging for volunteers, but apparently people are listening, and we've had new volunteers at the Historical Society and Sumner Hall for the Smithsonian event, which will start March 31st, and our next big event is the Tea Party Festival.
All right.
Not much to report for Ward 1. I also attended the Cokie Roberts, Barbara Mikulski event. They're both heroines of mine. And it really was well done, and a wonderful contribution to the community from Washington College. It was the debut lecture in a long series they're going to have on the centennial of the women's right to vote. And what a great way to kick it off. Tomorrow night, another personal favorite of mine, Wayne Gilchrist is giving a lecture at Heron Point at 7 o'clock as part of our Howard Sachs lecture series, which is 2 or 3 times a year. We have really fantastic speakers. So I think that is open to the public. And in terms of Ward 3, given I'm like Sam, noticing those patches in the roads, things are, other than that, very good. It's been a great winter, no major weather problems, and
How much money did we save on not salting our roads?
a lot.
Can't tell you yet, that's gonna bring a
Yeah.
snowstorm. Just that,
We
just
might
that
get snow on
Just
some.
that question, don't know.
Counting the money at the
We
table,
got,
that's
we
what you're
got a
doing.
budget versus actual income and expense, and I noticed that the
We got more roads.
plowing budget is really low. I mean, the
We got more
actual
roads
expense
in
is
Ward
really low.
4. We're gonna divide it out by who has the most.
No, it's definitely a plus for us, and that'll give us more money for.
And utilities
for
are
road work.
really low for all the town
Yeah.
departments too,
Yeah.
so.
Can we roll that plowing money into repaving?
Yes,
Excellent.
yes, we're about to write the contract for that, or the bid specs for that, and we'll see how far they stretch, literally see how far they go.
Seriously.
Do we have a schedule for budget workshops and budget?
No, but we
yet?
will by the next meeting.
Okay, there were no requests to be on the agenda. Are there questions or comments?
I sent a letter on the 27th of February regarding boundary weekend. Did you get that, Bill?
I do have it.
Okay. Is it okay if I come up and talk about that?
What, sure?
So I'm not sure, did the council get that letter?
No, it's just the annual letter of downrigging request, right?
It was our annual permit request, which is standard, but there was a significant new part of it. We're getting to the part in the process of downrigging weekend where we need to start putting non-refundable major deposits down for things. And that includes Sultana and that includes other organizations. So I'll give you one example. Kingstown Farm Home and Garden, who hosted the Doc Dogs event last year, which was enormously successful. Thousands of people came to that. They have a very significant non-refundable deposit that's due on the 31st of March. So we're getting, I told you during the last time I was here, we could wait until about April 1st to make a call on whether we're going to do the festival or not. So we're probably about a day earlier than that, March 31st. And what I had requested in my previous visit here and in my letter was that the town seek a third-party professional person of their choosing to take a look at these piers and make sure that they are safe for all of us to put people on them for downrigging.
We approved that.
Yeah, we did.
So this is, I will tell you what my concern is, just to be specific, is do we have any, that has not been done yet to the best of my knowledge.
What?
Having a third party
The
come in and
inspection.
give an official look through of the piers.
Right. It hasn't.
It hasn't. So my concern is.
We were out this morning ourselves looking at it, so, I mean, we've started the process.
I guess our concern is, as an organization, is that if that bill comes back and it's $50,000, my guess is that you would not move forward with that, considering you're going to tear the piers down. And that's understandable, and we're not suggesting that you do that. But if that third party comes back and says, hey, look, unless you do this $50,000 worth of work, these piers are no longer really usable, then we can't hold our festival, and I can't encourage people to put non-refundable deposits down that they can't get back, if that makes sense. So I'm not pushing you to do anything, and I understand the position you're in, We're also in a similar, less dramatic position, but a position nonetheless where we have to decide, people have decided to put real money down that we can't get back.
And plus, we have the Tea Party coming up the end of May.
I've said we were going to fix the piers. Now, I've already caught grief from another party who says we don't do enough for them. But seriously, we're going to fix these things so they're safe. And we started this morning with our own crew who built the Byford Court Bridge. The contractor is now on scene that we said was going to be the third party. So, yeah, I got your letter, but basically, we already committed to doing that. Now, you're supposing it's going to be $50,000. Yes, of course, we don't have $50,000 to put into it, but those repairs are not going to cost that much. They can't cost that much.
But Drew is saying we have 3 weeks.
But he's mandating what we're supposed to do.
Wait, let me just finish. Drew is saying we don't. They have 3 weeks to be assured that the piers are safe for the downrigging festival before they start really risking losing money. I thought we had approved that there would be an inspection of the...
No, I don't have the minutes from December in front of me, but what I said we would do was when our contractor got on scene, that we would have him, and if that's not a qualified person, I don't know who is.
Yeah, you did say that.
But before that, we've been under I think that the docks in front of the fish whistle are just as unsafe. We've analyzed what we need to do with them this morning, so.
Good.
I feel like this is an ultimatum, so.
It's not an ultimatum.
Well,
I have to disagree.
It comes
Let me get
across.
on the letter and say I'm giving you an ultimatum. I'm not giving you an ultimatum.
Well, it seems to me you're asking the same question that you asked a month or two ago, and we said we would do it. Now, maybe you don't like the way we're going to do it.
Well, to come to Drew's defense, I wasn't even thinking about the Tea Party Festival, which is the end of May.
They have to be safe for anybody.
They have to be safe for that, too.
It'd be nice to be ripping them out. I had my druthers on ripping a pier out before, but that apparently gets in your way of bringing the boat in and out. So we are going to fix these so they're safe for people to walk on.
100 people at the same time?
Well, how many people?
I don't know, but that was the standard that, there could be 100 people on the pier, which never happens for anything else all
And
year
they
round.
certainly can't be on one place, so.
Yeah.
There's no easier way of doing this, and especially getting challenged by another neighbor about why we don't do enough for them. That's really embarrassing to me, and it's not true.
So the plan, as I understand it, is we're going to have Tom and the road crew, basically, they've surveyed the docks, they're going to brace as much as they can to shore up the bracing, and then are we going to have Kingfisher then
We're going to do both.
look at what
We're going to
they've
have
done?
them hopefully do it together, and I'll call it the masonry crew, not the road crew, because they're highly skilled. But I thought we made a promise already to have these docks, and so when it came in all highlighted, basically I thought, okay, you're making your point. Didn't realize it was meant to be on the agenda for tonight, because I thought it was approved.
So what's the target date for the repairs?
Well, it was downrigging. But now you're saying something else, so it's now.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
So-
you've got the floor.
All right, so what I heard, which was very legitimate, I wouldn't argue it for 1 second, is that if the bill for this comes back at $50,000, it's unlikely that you would do it. So is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, really, I don't ever get to say that. They do. So what do you say? Does $50,000 sound like
So I'm
something
just
you're
pulling
gonna
that out of the sky. I have no reason to believe
Yeah,
that
I mean,
that's
it's,
the
to
number.
me,
If we're
it
doing
serves
it
nothing.
in-house, it's not likely to be that
It
much.
Let
is
me
not
ask you
good.
something, Drew. Where did you come up with that $50,000?
I just put it out there because I figured that was a number that
Well,
was too
yeah,
high.
you could have just put out 25,000 or 100,000.
We
so-
can
put
buy an awful lot of,
25,000.
we can buy an awful lot of
If we're
lumber.
doing it in-house, it's not going to cost that much.
I know that. I'm just wanting to know where he came up with $50,000. Bill doesn't think
completely
that.
That hyperbole is effective, because it makes it sound like we're not going to do this. We are going to do this. no matter what the challenges are.
Drew just wants assurance that he can have the parties involved in downrigging start putting out real money that they're not gonna get back if there's a problem with the docks.
And his board, he said the last time, his board's put a lot of importance on this.
We are concerned that the docks, the condition that they are in, there could be a major failure that could cause serious injury or loss of life. And to make sure that doesn't happen to anybody and that none of us are responsible for that, we would like, in order to feel comfortable for us to do this, because trust me, if that dock falls in the water, they're going to sue you, they're going to sue us as well. And we would like someone who is qualified to look at the docks and say, this is the condition the docks are in, this is what needs to be done to repair those docks in the short term for people to get on it. And if that number is too high, and we would understand that, we're not going to argue that you should or should not spend money. We just want to plan accordingly.
Do you think you can control the number of people and the rate with which they go out on the docks?
If we were given specific instructions, I think we could.
All right. Well, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, and I'm in the process of doing it, so.
Okay.
Sorry if it's, the guarantee was what I thought you needed to proceed.
Your March 31st deadline.
Is it, I'm fine taking risk with our own money to a certain extent. I am less comfortable telling other third parties to take risks with their money. So that's just where, if it's possible to do it by March 31st, that would be great. If it's not possible, then most likely those events won't happen.
And we only have one more meeting before March 31st. I'm just kind of looking at an emergency funding here, right here with the, yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna go out with our own crew and put braces under the docks, it's not gonna cost tens of thousands of dollars. I think the key, and I think what Drew is asking for is, once we've done that internally, getting somebody like a Kingfisher to then say, yes, I think these are usable for another year.
You have insurance?
Yes, we do.
Well, they'll send somebody down here and look at the docks if you have concerns.
I
thought that
think that's
already.
probably not the way we want to go, if we can avoid it. I think if we can get somebody else to do it.
Well, I finally have all the elements on scene right now. I have Kingfisher, I had our engineer from Hines there this morning, and I had Tom. And we have the weather, so I know this is causing you some heartburn, but we are going to fix it, so it's safe. It behooves us to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
So,
And that congruence of events just came together today.
I'm going to say that it will not cost over $10,000. I don't even like to use that figure because of criticism I've caught from others. They think we're showing favoritism to Sultana. However, that's not true, because this is an event that benefits the whole town, including people that are close by. So
And we've got the Tea Party Festival too.
I'll send you all the emails that I got about, whatever you say, you're going to catch some criticism. It's bizarre.
And I thank you for this, because I wouldn't have thought about it if the docks aren't safe for the Tea Party Festival. Do we need to get more volunteers to keep people off the docks?
Well, there's one
during the
dock we know is
festival?
safe, and that's the Sultana dock is safe. We have the other two docks.
I mean, we need to,
The three.
I need to know, because
Traffic is on the docks.
we're meeting twice a month
The
already.
most unsafe, the loosest portion in all is in front of the fish whistle. We have worked on that before, and we're going to work on it again. But we also know we have a pretty good idea how we're going to have to brace up these docks. So we intend to do it.
All right. Thank you very much. Any update you can provide would be great.
Thanks.
Yeah, and the reason the number is an issue is because if we dump a ton of money into this, the plan is to take out all the piers this coming, not this winter, but next winter, so we want to do everything we can to make it safe, but it doesn't really make sense to put a ton of money into it when we are planning on,
That's exactly right.
after
temporary
downrigging,
fix.
tearing everything out.
They're not engineering marvels. Fixing them is not rocket science, and it can be done. I mean, if you knew what thought went into redoing the bridge, you'd have a lot more confidence. But we'll also have it inspected by others. You know, the docks aren't in great shape, but this is something that, it's the number of people on them at one time that's the scary thing, and maybe we need to think about it two ways, too. How many people are allowed to go out and visit a ship at one time,
All right, are there other questions or comments?
I think you were getting towards, if you want to give me a budget, if you want to say don't exceed 10,000 or 5,000, I can do that.
I would think $10,000. It's basically, we're talking about the cost of the lumber.
And it will come out of the marina budget, not the Marion Council budget. Okay?
I would think if we put $10,000 of lumber and, bolts and nuts or whatever else,
Which is
material.
probably reusable, too.
I can't imagine it's more than 10 grand in materials. And if we're using our own labor, I mean, they're probably going to be in way better shape than they were for the last several years by the time we're done.
Yeah.
Jeff?
No, I'm just going to say that, kind of touch on what Drew said. I mean, number one, I'm more elated than anyone to see those excavators and see those pilings going in down there. There's, even just this year by doing that one bulkhead, that's going to prevent water from coming in on that side, and then obviously, eventually the other two sides will be completed. But I do have to say about downriver, and this is not just for me. I mean, it's by far my best weekend out of the year. And I can tell you, it's such an economic boom for this town. It's all over town. There are, I could take the Tea Party weekend and the former Wildlife weekend, combine those two together, you still would not hit what Downriver weekend is. That's just how huge a weekend it is, not just for me being down on the water, but everyone in town. So I just, I just wanted to say, number one, I'm happy that something is getting done there and it's getting started. But I just wanted to again say how much of a boom that down reading weekend is to the town and Saltown in general. One more thing real fast. I'm sure everyone's heard about what happened at the restaurant with the assault and robbery of one of my waitresses. I do have to say for Chief Baker that even before that, they had been patrolling down in that area more, or were more, and then since this has happened, I constantly see them down there, whether it's 2 a.m. in the morning, or 8 a.m., 9 p.m., what have you. I mean, there's only so much that they can do. I mean, the unfortunate thing is, we all may put the blame on drugs, maybe it's drug addicts getting money. From what I've seen in my life, it's any drug addict getting money may steal from someone, but most of the time you don't have physical assaults involved. Usually, basically, just to use a term, whether it's black, white, whatever, are basically local folks that are robbing people. That's what it basically boils down to. I don't think it's as much of, drugs are a huge problem, but I don't think it's as much of a drug issue as it is just people who want to rob people. That's basically what it boils down to. I just wanted to say how much they are doing and continue to do.
Great.
So, thanks.
Okay, any other questions or comments? No? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
I apologize, Sam. When I said it, I